Warning, the following stunts are done by trained professionals. Actually, we're not trained. Robbie is just a dumbass and decided to do a drunken fantasy football podcast. The thoughts, opinions, and takes are ours and ours only. It is not our fault if you lose in fantasy football or sports gambling. Viewer discretion is advised.
Bow! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one and only Rumboyz Fantasy Network. It's your host, your boy Rumboyz Robbie. Make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe. We greatly love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining on the YouTube channel. Help us turn this plaque into a silver play button whenever you like, comment, subscribe, and you share the content. Not only will I get a silver play button, but all the contributors here at the network, Mike, Jeff, Taco, David, Gator, Leaves, J Love, Raj, everyone that's ever contributed that's been a part of it A1 since day one, gonna get a silver play button. So make sure you guys share the content. I do want to make sure that I use this time ever so eloquently to remind everyone about Pros with Joe's Fantasy Leagues. That's right, Pros with Joe's Fantasy Leagues is going down again. I am holding it down for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We've already raised $105 in the first day of going live with this charity. So make sure all my mental health warriors, all hands on deck, be sure to join up. Link is down below in the description section. If you want to learn more about it, if you want to join up, one lucky person will get the opportunity to, via raffle, to co-manage a fantasy football team with yours truly, where we are going to compete up against some of the greatest minds in the fantasy football industry, from Fantasy Pros to NFL Network to homies over at SiriusXM, other YouTubers, you name it. We're going to be competing against them. They're part of Pros with Joe's. Join me, all hands on deck. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Also, you're also going to win a swag bag if you're chosen in the raffle as well. That's right, a Rumboyz swag bag. It's going to include a t-shirt, shot glass, the backpack itself, and a bottle of rum, a bottle of my favorite rum delivered to you guys. So get involved with that. Also want to shout out our homies over at GLD Shop. GLD, get like me. You see I'm rocking the Commanders chain. You can represent your favorite NFL team and many, many more. Check out our wide range of selection of ice over at Shop GLD. Take them to the yacht, show them some of the products that we got.
Hop out in Miami when no land, I got no understanding. Out of here, I'm burning, or turn me on, you can't understand. In the club, posted up, nail it up, no matter where I'm standing. Shop GLD for the Cuban link, yeah, you see it there. Might spaz out on some taller shit, no on zero tolerance. Money conversations ain't hard to relate, it's hollering. See my neck, they acknowledge it, good friend, girl, when you're not.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, let's get into the cast and crew, because I know that you all are here to talk about football. We got an action-packed show for you. But first, stepping up to the mic, stepping up to the plate, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Drop the Mic FM. You're muted.
What's up?
What is good? Are you what in the fucking Rey Mysterio are you wearing?
I am wearing a luchador mask that I brought home from Canton, Ohio from Mauricio Gutierrez.
Oh my gosh, yo, big shout out to Mauricio and big shout out to Mauricio. Congrats on the DAZN gig, landing the NFL DAZN gig. Big up to Mauricio. Dale, papi. Hey, yo, I'll kill this beer for Mauricio right here.
He had a backpack full of these, and we walked from the DoubleTree down to the Canton party dressed like luchadors.
Bro,
but before you bring on the next person, with the 7th pick in the 4th round of the Rumboyz League, Drop the Mic FF selects. Where's he at? wide receiver, Mike Evans.
All righty. A little bit of Mike Evans love in the staff league. I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, next up here on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, Rumboyz After Dark, Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Introducing your favorite hill, my favorite hill, TDS Taco.
You're muted.
So
What's poppin', everybody? What's going on? What's going on? I'm excited.
Two vets in the game back to back, fucking coming on screen muted. What are y'all doing? Ladies and gentlemen, last but certainly not least, give it up for Jeff the Scout.
What's up, boys? It's been a while.
What's good? Hi. So we do have a show that we got to get into, but before we do, we have to do this thing right. All right. We got a decommission the set here at Rumboyz headquarters. I apologize if it gets like a little noisy. There's been like flybys and shit all day because we got an air show this weekend. So shouts to the Thunderbirds, shouts to the Blue Angels. America, yeah. Cheers to me, cheers to you, all the Rumboys and girls. What it do, dilly dilly. Again, we love and appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, share the content. Gentlemen, hope everyone's doing tonight.
Woo.
Hope everyone's doing well tonight. All right. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Hope y'all are doing well in the chat. Leafs, I see you. Big shout out on the Sam Darnold clip. We got a Jordan Addison clip dropping as well. But we're gonna talk some UFC at the end, hopefully. But you know it's out of sign yet, bro. What up, Rick? What's good? Damn Daniel. What is good? All righty. So, boys, happy Friday. We need to start things off with the talk of the town. There was football on last night, and one person really showed out. I'm talking about no other than Drake. No, not that Drake. Not Drake that just got bodied by Kendrick Lamar. Not Drake that flies on private jets with his meat hanging out all on the Bird app, okay? We're talking about no other than Drake May up in New England playing for the Patriots. The third overall pick, you ask me, he looked pretty damn competent. All right. Last night he went 6 for 11, 47 yards, 4 carries for 15 yards, and a rushing TD. While his counterpart, Jacoby Brissett, threw a pick going 3 for 7. Everyone is buzzing, saying, hey, start the rookie. I ask, what say ye? Drop the mic, take us away.
Well, it wasn't not that long ago, Taco. I think it was, 6 days, 23 hours, and 45 minutes that the person that just asked me this question said it was all about Joe Milton, and now he's all about Drake.
I never said that wasn't about Joe Milton.
Okay. My stance doesn't change. He's still a rookie. It's still preseason. I still think they should start Jacoby Brissett for a little bit and then bring Drake May in. Preseason is preseason. For God's sakes, the Raiders win in preseason. Not everything in preseason is going to show like the regular season. Yes, he did decent. Is it him maturing a little bit? Is it him getting a little more practice run? Who knows? All I'm going to say is that Drake May is the future of the team, but I don't necessarily think that every quarterback should be rushed in. It's the whole thing of, we have to rush the quarterbacks now. I disagree with that. Sometimes it's better that they don't get rushed in to be in the QB week 1, snap 1. And he might be the type where if Brissett goes in there a little bit, and if it's after 3 or 4, and I know they have a rough start to start the season, I don't know if I would want Drake May to be my QB and have to go through that. Let the veteran who's not going to be the future of your team go through that rough stretch.
I do definitely understand that point of letting the veteran go through the rough stretch. Let the veteran take the licks. They're a little bit more tailored for it. They're a little bit more accustomed to it. I don't know. There's also argument to make when you look at I don't know, the Houston Texans last year, and there was so much new, and they weren't really competing for anything, and they didn't really have anything to compete for, and then all of a sudden became a competitive team underneath.
They didn't have a veteran like Brissett to come in. They had
You're
Davis
right.
Mills. They had Davis freaking Mills.
You're
and
right.
I like General Mills just like you do, but
there's an argument to be made about the whole starting the rookie side, while there is also an argument to be made, when you look at the Mahomes and the Jordan Loves of the type that have gotten to sit a while. There's arguments to be made about both.
Oh, hands down.
TDS Taco, what do you got?
I mean, I think, like Mike said, we spoke a lot about this last week, and while CJ Stroud was able to come out and perform at a level we don't normally see, he was the exception and not the rule. More often than not, it's a bust. And once you bust with that top quarterback, look at Sam Darnold. You get sent off somewhere. You become toxic to the fan base because they've seen you struggle, and now they're internalizing it. And a lot of times you don't get a second or third chance to really develop. So it makes sense to learn the playbook, get entrenched, get used to it, and have a better shot and a better chance to be successful for a sustained period, rather than maybe coming in, be good for the first couple games, but then all of a sudden the defenses are reading, figuring out what you're doing, and you can't make that first adjustment, and now you're still trying to figure everything out, and all of a sudden the house of cards come falling down.
There have been other rookie QBs that have came in and have made immediate change. You look at look at RG3's rookie year. I mean, come on, he came on the scene and lit the damn thing on fire. It does happen. So to say that Stroud is just a lone exception, I don't completely buy in. Cam Newton, when he came onto the scene, he set it on fire. There are those talents. You look at the class around Drake May and Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, those guys getting the opportunity to start. There's another quarterback we may talk about later.
But does someone else dictate what you should be doing based on the team, based on the talent, based on the transition? There's no sense in rushing your guy out there just to get him out there, and then all of a sudden things don't go right, and now we're looking at a guy that lost his confidence before he even got it. And that's all I'm saying. If you had your chance, you probably want to, especially with a team like this. Like the Texans had a couple top picks on that draft. You know what I mean? They had some receivers in the stable. It wasn't just like Mills had shown a little promise. Like this Patriot team is not the same. They are not the same.
The only thing I will add real quick to back up talk on this before we throw it to Jeff is the other thing that the Houston had was their division was wide open last year. That's not the case with the Patriots.
Okay. Jeff.
I think I'm the one guy on the opposite side of this. You're talking about the first time we're in a post-Bill Belichick era. I would throw out May. I would put Polk and Baker as my 1 and 2 wide receivers. I'd see what I get with these rookies. Look, you're not winning the division at all. You're not. So if you throw these guys out there and by game 4, you're 0-4, you can adjust a little bit. I don't think there's much upside in Jacoby. Milton can do some things. You've got some running backs in the stable in Stevenson and Gibson. I don't see a reason why. I think everyone is treating Drake May like this Chinese doll. He played in the ACC at a school that is pretty well known for putting out quarterbacks. Now, whether or not those quarterbacks turned out real well, you know what, it is what it is, but they do go to the draft. So he's played in big games. He's played these things. So if I was Mayo, I would throw caution to the wind. Let's throw these rookies out there. Let's see what we got. If we end up with a top 10 pick, you know what? We know what we need to fix this team. But right now, throwing out the same team that you kind of threw out last year that sucked anyway, I don't think does anything positive for this franchise. Who knows? Drake May, Polk, Baker, Douglas, maybe they come out there and they win 3. They win 3 out of the 4 games. And then what? You have a whole different conversation on your hands now. Now it's Drake May is the future of the franchise. Now, Matt Jones did the same thing when Matt Jones came into the league, so, temper expectations with that. But I don't see any reason to sit May behind 2 quarterbacks who are far less superior than he is, or sit two rookie wide receivers behind, Thornton Douglas and try and play the dink and dunk game with the tight end. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Demario, okay. Here's the way that I look at this situation and I view it. First off, great game last night. I really thought had it not been Drake May getting pulled, if Drake May was playing that whole game, I have full confidence that maybe another touchdown would have been scored for New England, and New England probably would have won that over Philadelphia. With that being said, with that being stated, what the fuck are you playing for, New England? Like, let's be serious. Let's be serious. This year, if you're going to sit here and tell me that your expectations in that building right now, winning the division, or even sniffing the fucking wild card, you're sadly mistaken. Aren't they, I believe, somewhere around like a plus 600, plus 800 to have like the worst record in the NFL? They are probably, Vegas is anticipating them winning the fewest games along with 7 other teams.
I mean, their first 5 games of the year are at the Bengals, Seahawks, at Jets, which I think they're going to lose, at the Niners, Dolphins, Texans. That's the first 6 weeks. That's why I think the Brissett thing is smart, not throwing him out there to the dogs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You lost, Judon over the weekend or during the week, which we'll talk about later.
We'll get about that later.
Having to run out there with rookies, your most veteran pass catcher is Hunter Henry. I don't like the situation around May. I do believe in the old philosophy of not ruining the young rookie quarterback's confidence. Brissett, this is probably your last year that you're ever going to get a starting opportunity. Live it the fuck up. At some point during the season, Drake May will be the starter. At some point, New England Patriots fans will be tired of the Jacoby Brissett show, because we've already seen this show in multiple different uniforms, even in a New England uniform once before. Mm-hmm. So they're going to get frustrated real quick. The patience is going to wear thin very quick. I think Mayo tries to extend it out as long as he can. Maybe week 7, we see Drake May. That's my approach to Drake May. That's how I would approach Drake May. I don't necessarily feel like it's like if he sits behind Brissett, then now he's going to become like Mahomes or Jordan Love. I'm not sitting here saying that shit. That's not coming out of my mouth. But I do think that he benefits a lot greater of just sitting back for a little while versus just being tossed into the fire. You start a new job, they train you first. Everyone's been to a job where they don't train you or they don't train you well, and then you end up hating it. Don't do that to Drake May. It's just good. To me, it just comes down to good business ethics. And that's something that the Patriots are really good at. So yeah, we'll see. May was throwing dots last night, saw in person, just shit wide receivers. Yeah, Aiden, I saw, bro. I saw you at the game on Snapchat, man. I hope that you enjoyed it, bro. Hope that you enjoyed it. Look, fucking like torrential downpour. Want to get into the next topic here. Pretty much within the last 72-ish hours, maybe a little bit more, just well, safe to say within the last week, okay? The Atlanta Falcons. Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play and they ride on the things like every day. The Atlanta Falcons have done nothing this past week but add dogs to the defensive side of the ball to also help complement what's already happening on the offensive side of things. They do this by bringing in edge rusher Matthew Judon from the New England Patriots in exchange for a 3rd-round pick and signing former Broncos Pro Bowl safety Justice Simmons to a 1-year, $8 million deal with $7.5 million of that guaranteed. Are we looking at the new kings of the South? DraftKings is saying minus 130 when you look at futures for them to win the division. I want to know you fellas' thoughts. Jeff, take us away. I'm a drink.
I mean, the NFC South since its inception has probably had the most parity of any division in the NFL. First to worst, worst to first, that has happened multiple times. Atlanta has done everything right, whether or not you believe in Kirk Cousins or not, to fix the team that they screwed up in the first place. They went out there, they got Pitts, they got London, they got Bijan, and they just had Desmond Ritter out there throwing. They had a couple pieces on defense, but they were in the wrong spots. They didn't fill out this team correctly. I think they are right now the team to beat. I don't think you count on Baker having a double season or even a better one. Derek Carr in New Orleans, there's questions there. Carolina, leave him alone. I think this season, even though we just talked about, how they got dogs, they got Mooney, they've got maybe one of the best 1-2 backfields in the NFL. This season may ride more on one person than anything else, and it's AJ Terrell. He's coming up on a contract. Is this dude going to ball out? And if this team goes to a playoff and makes a deep run, do they give AJ Terrell a massive contract? Or if this team misses the playoffs, is AJ Terrell gone? I mean, this is your number one corner. You just put everyone around him and you put offense on the other side of the ball. Is the boy going to show up?
I like that. Lee said Judah got traded for a pack of 24 Diet Cokes. Damn. I agree with a lot that you said there, Jeff. I mean, especially, like you said, AJ Terrell there with the DB group. You got Grady Jarrett, over there on the defensive side of things as well, already wreaking havoc. You add Matthew Judon on that line with him. Justice Simmons back there to help complement AJ Terrell. This team, this defense, that was one of the big pieces that they were really missing, and they've always have been missing, is a defense. I'm interested in the Atlanta Falcons for damn sure. By the way, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons for both having Bijan Mustard on the offensive side, but then having Grady Jarrett on the defensive side. These guys are just going for all the food groups. Taco, your take.
Man, listen, I think that division is just a hodgepodge of shit, and now you add in Kirk Cousins with so many offensive weapons. I think it's theirs to lose. Now you add in a couple of pieces to secure him up, give them a shot to really compete. But personally, if you ask me, I think that the Falcons are going to win that division, and I like what that team has on offensive side of the ball, and they need to add some players. So you added Simmons to help out, and let's see where it goes. Like everyone's saying, there's no team that's going to run away with this division as we saw last year. Do we trust Baker and Carr to push it any further than they have? Young hasn't shown absolutely nothing. The question is, can they do anything in the playoffs? Because I think they'll make the playoffs, but is their defense going to be good enough to hold up? And that's what the season's going to be about, to find out if these guys can gel, if you can put it together, and you can find some of these unsung guys and guys that, haven't made a name for themselves to show up and actually fill in for some of the roles that'll be needed to be filled in for.
Okay. No, I like that take. I love what Tria brings up. Bates and Simmons, best safety duo. Aiden, calling out that, hey, safety's highly undervalued in the NFL. I agree. Leaf say they're making win now moves. That Penix pick doesn't make sense now. I'll say that they're making win now moves with also a little bit of a combination of like trying to build something for the future, and I think that's why the Penix thing still kind of makes sense. I don't knock them too hard on the Penix pick now, especially when you take into account that, hey, if Cousins were to get re-injured, so on and so forth. We already see how people are panicking over rookie backups getting injured and being out for the season. Again, something that we'll talk about a little bit later. I don't fault them for the Penix pick at all. But Taco, to your point, Raheem Morris has done a good job ever since he's came in. You brought up some of the things that they tackled over there on the offense. You combine that with the defense. You combine that with defensive pieces that know the game, know the speed of the game. this is going to be a team that's going to give people fits and is going to surprise a lot of people. Once you add two pieces like that, it gets very, very fucking difficult in that division. And to your point, I mean, Bryce only had one season last year in an offense that we weren't too fond of. So he has Canellis now too, so that also makes a difference. Mike.
All right, so first I want to address the comment about the Penix thing. One reason I don't think that I agree with you about it's not that big of a deal that they drafted Penix with the moves that they just made is twofold. One, if you would have asked any of us that on August 5th in May when the draft happened, if you would have asked any of us in May that on August 15th Justin Simmons would still be a free agent, I think would have been shocked. So I think, one, the Falcons are surprised that Justin Simmons was even available to sign. Two, Judon wouldn't have been available if he didn't get along with his head coach. Mm-hmm. We saw the spat back in May. He wouldn't have been available. He became available because things that have happened over the last couple months. So, yes, he got traded for a 24-pack of Diet Coke, even caffeine-free. But before yesterday, my pick for the NFC South was no other, because this division is a cluster F beyond belief. I was going to take the Carolina Panthers, partly because of Dave Canales, partly because this division is in a flux. I agree with Jeff that I don't think that Baker I don't think that Tampa as a whole is going to have as good of a year. No one trusts David, Derek, whatever his Carr. No one trusts Carr. You got Chris Olave who's dinged up again. I love Olave, but he keeps getting dinged up. Rashid's got a hammy. Kamara's Kamara. That team. Does anyone trust Dennis Allen? I know I don't.
No.
So, yes, now I do think that Atlanta is a proverbial favorite. It doesn't surprise me. I did not know their odds. It's one of the reasons my eyes popped out. I did not realize what their odds were in Vegas now that they made the moves. It doesn't surprise me that they're number one. If Cousins and all them can stay healthy and all that can go down with that offense and they learn how to use everyone correctly, which I believe they will, Atlanta is going to be the favorite. But like you said, Taco, this team, they're not going to run away from anyone. They could be 9-7 and win the division in this lonely division. I don't think that whoever wins this division is going to win a playoff game.
Okay. I'd be willing to buy that take. I'd be willing to buy that take that you just closed with about no one in the division winning a single playoff game. I still think that for the NFC South as a whole, there's still some hurdles to overcome before that can happen for any one of them. Excuse me. Now, with that being said, with that being stated, just the addition of Matthew Judon. You guys know that whenever I go into like my fucking whole like IDP craze and everything, like when I drop takes about that stuff, even though it's few and far between, when I do drop takes about that, Judon's always a guy that I'm talking about. Like he's always one of those guys I'm talking about. If I can get a player that I know last year he only played the four games on a regular basis, though, if I can get a guy that I'm going to get 30 tackles, 20 plus assisted tackles, 9 plus sacks out of, oh my gosh, like I'm all in. I'm all in. Maybe grab me a fumble recovery or two throughout the season. Judon's just a beast. He's an absolute animal. When you add a guy like that to Atlanta, I just feel like he fits the attitude of Atlanta as well. I feel like it's just a perfect fit. Judon, bring your red sleeves, put your hand in the dirt, and go to work. I'm excited to see it in these Dirty Bird colors. And then as for Justin Simmons, I mean, you combine, Bates and then Terrell. I mean, just everything that they got going on back there. It's gonna be very, very tough to throw on this team. I like what they're doing. I like what they got going on at -130. I'm willing to take it for damn sure. Because it's a -130, it's not financial advice. 1-800 Gambler if you have a problem, but I would probably put a little bit more than my average, unit play on that, just because I feel like it's such a lot. It's such a lot. I could easily see this being Atlanta, Tampa, Carolina, New Orleans when it's all said and done. What's up, Jeff?
I think the one thing too that none of us actually really mentioned, adding Judon does something very interesting when you talk about this team. Who are you stopping? Grady Jarrett or Matthew Judon? You can't stop them.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to be able to stop both. It's going to be a rough season for opposing quarterbacks. It's going to be a rough season as well for opposing defensive coordinators when we talk about the offensive side of the ball. This move, to me, these two moves in tandem together. When with Judon, I was like, okay, like Atlanta, you're doing something but at that point, I'd still in my mind had Tampa ahead of Atlanta. With these two moves in tandem on the defensive side, balancing out everything they did in the offseason on the offensive side, it easily moves Atlanta up to number one in the NFC South for me. Easily able to buy them at 130 to win that division. It's just, like I said, it's just going to be too much for opposing teams to handle. And if they can win the injury battle of attrition, then my gosh, really, really look out. Let's see here. How y'all feeling? How are y'all feeling? I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm great, man.
Hell yeah.
I want to go to the movies.
What the fuck? Oh, so that the topic. I got what you said. Ah! So this is an interesting topic. We do not talk about movies all that often here, especially this live stream, especially this live podcast. But we got to talk about this one. We talk about movies whenever it's a sports related, a football related movie. We're going to take a break from, contracts and predictions and all that stuff. We're just going to have some fun. Gentlemen, I'm happy to announce to you that the Declaration of Independence is now officially safe. With that being said, what I'm really saying is Nicolas Cage, he's now set up to be cast as John Madden in an upcoming biopic that's been years in the making. I personally have my reservations about this casting, but I want to know how the boys feel about this one. Mike, I saw you getting ready to take a sip, so cheers to me, cheers to you, all the Rumboyz and girls want to do. What do you make of this? There's so much I see wrong.
I'm not sipping. I'm telling you, when I saw this news at 4 o'clock today, it caused me to grab the bottle. Okay. Nicolas Cage is John Madden. God, I mean, that's almost as bad as freaking Kevin James is freaking Sean Payton. No.
Well, they're saying that this is supposed to be like a very serious biopic.
Serious biopic, yes, but when the guy looks like, no, he don't look like John Madden. Serious biopic, yes. If you're going to do a biopic about a Phillies pitcher, you pick freaking Nicolas Cage. You don't pick him to do John Madden. I know it's a serious thing, but Kevin James looks more like John Madden than freaking
yes.
I mean, than freaking Nicolas Cage. Okay, go save the Declaration of Independence. Good. Go steal another Mustang. Stay away from my sports movies. Stay away from my Madden franchise. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Stay on the other side, Nicolas Cage. I don't like this. I'm done. Drop the mic.
Was that a TLC reference?
Damn right
I
it
think it
was.
You old shit. Everybody think that we were about to go on. I'm about to make a name for myself. Everybody think that we were about to talk about Deadpool, Wolverine. No. Wrong show, wrong podcast. Taco, what do you make of this? I'm in fucking agreement with Mike, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Nicolas Cage has become a great like B-list actor, and Mike is saying that
Damn.
and Mike is saying that he doesn't look like Madden, but that's what the makeup chair is for. Like, did Colin Farrell look like the Penguin? No, but then he did. You're like, damn, that motherfucker ugly. What the fuck? And now you're like, that's the Penguin? That's Colin Farrell? What the fuck happened here?
I didn't like that either. That's a fucking shitty example.
Or like that time that he was playing the dude disguised as the dude just as the other dude, Robert Downey Jr. That's makeup right there for you, Mike.
Oh my
you can make him look like John Madden.
I'm a dude, play the dude. Like another dude.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is probably gonna be like, you know how they did that HBO Winning Time, and then like not Hulu, but like FX came out with their like the Clippers one. It's gonna be like that. God. It's gonna be like the FX joint, not the HBO joint. You know what I mean? That's what I'm expecting. Not like HBO is like when they're making fun of it, it still kind of has like that high level, that bougie feel. When it's on FX, it's like, damn, this shit free, right? That's what it's gonna feel like. It's gonna feel like the FX movie.
I have a feeling like I have a feeling it's just hard. First off, like acting has its own. Although actors make amazing fucking money. Well, okay, the top level actors. I have some friends that are low level fucking actors that make dog shit to be extras. So those people don't count. But like actual like actors, like the top list, they get paid really well. But there are things they got to deal with. How the fuck are you gonna gain the weight? And the areas that you're going to have to, like, makeup's not going to be able to put it all there. Like there's no makeup artist that can do it. Like the places that you're going to have to make the weight like stay and stick. Nicolas Cage, you're too fucking scrawny, bro.
Yeah, see,
you're
right
too
here.
Scrawny.
He's got to put weight here.
Yeah, you got to get in the love him. You know?
Oh, you got to put on a fat suit. Again, like Colin Farrell in Penguin. He was fat. Is he fat? No. Have you seen Eddie Murphy in what is it? What is the Dr. Dolittle? He played five different people.
You're thinking about Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor. My bad. Have you ever seen a Medea movie? Did you know that Medea is not a woman? I mean, not a man.
You bring up valid points. Real ones remember Nicolas Cage was supposed to play Superman. Oh my gosh. Jeff, what do you think?
Man, I'm going to go with an interesting way on this one. So Nicolas Cage is one of the last few method actors we have left.
Love
but also
puffy cheeks, no Diddy.
Also, John Madden was certifiably insane the last 10 years of his life, and Nicolas Cage should be in a mental institution. So I think those two go really well together if it's the last part of his life, because the stuff that would come out of John Madden's mouth on Monday Night Football, Nicolas Cage says on a daily basis. So that I kind of agree with. But if this biopic is like a whole like John Madden's lifelong thing, I'm not with it. But I also think that when you have, and this is going to come up with Bill Belichick, when you have someone who's as iconic, gold-plated, ironclad as John Madden, I don't care who you get to play. The answer is wrong. No one's going to do it correctly because there's only one.
No, Frank Caliendo's been doing John Madden for like the last couple of years.
Yeah, Frank Caliendo's been doing impressions, but I mean, like, name one time you saw a Frank Caliendo movie and was like, man, that was a Golden Globe movie.
I'm just saying.
Like, no. Like, I don't know. I mean, it could be a hell of a lot worse. I also think, personally, it's too soon to make a John Madden movie. Like they did the John Madden thing, the John Madden special a couple years ago. But I think it's too soon to make a John Madden movie. I don't think we're ready for that yet.
I mean, yeah, no, I on that part, I do agree, but Hollywood's gonna Hollywood, you know. Uh, I agree. Yeah, we could have waited, or either like they've been trying to get this done for years. I guess that like they even this has been a thing, even when or a thought the thought was birthed even while Madden was still alive.
Yeah, he was in on it at the beginning.
Yeah, he was in on it. There's been back and forth with who would be casted, and I guess it was finally settled on it being Nicolas Cage. If Madden was able to see it at one point and, love Nicholas for the role, I get it, whatever. I also feel like maybe we could have waited until we had a actor come along or go out and actually seek that actor that maybe fit the mold a little bit better. But just like anything else, when you take it serious, you go out there, you practice. Nicolas Cage has been doing it for so damn long. He's going to go out there, lock in. I expect Nicolas Cage to be taking this with the Johnny Depp, Joaquin Phoenix approach, where they're going to be locked into character even when not recording. So I'm expecting Cage to be being John. He's probably John right now, like as we're making this. Like he's already probably like locked in and tapped in. So I guess I got to give him a chance. But overall, this fucking sucks. Like it's gonna suck. What's up, Jeff?
Last thing, I was surprised it wasn't an actor who's already played a major role in a sports movie, who can look like John Madden without very much makeup, has won Academy Awards. The guy that played Truman Capote and was in Moneyball as the manager. Like that guy could have easily done John Madden.
I could have seen that. Or make like Pacino, do it or something. Bring him out of retirement.
Oh God, no one believes Pacino. No one believes Pacino.
Yeah, he's not upbeat enough. You got to be upbeat.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, exactly. It's time to method act, bud. Yeah, exactly.
This dude's gonna be quoting Any Given Sunday out of nowhere in the middle of the movie.
But one last thing.
I want to get into it. I want to go ahead.
I was gonna say Nick Cage is broke. My man was broke as a joke, so that's why he started doing mad B-list movies. So this does fit his MO now.
William Dafoe.
I would take William.
I would take William Dafoe. Like, and I could see him like Lee's brought up method acting and like locking into being John Madden.
He's too intense.
I could see that.
Madden was pretty intense when he was a coach. Don't forget that.
I wouldn't disrespect William Dafoe with that role.
William Dafoe pull it off for real. McVay playing John Madden. McVay is new school John. I want to get into a topic that's not on the show sheet because we're making decent time right now before halftime. I
love those topics the best.
Yeah, exactly, because you guys have no fucking time to prepare.
Exactly. I don't have to prepare.
This one, I don't know if you guys saw this. This came out last night? Like late night, early morning? No, early this morning. This came out. It is from our friends. I'm just gonna say who it's from because the fucking logo is on the graphic, so there's no way of hiding it. Our friends over at Yahoo Fantasy.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Made a all fade fantasy team. Gentlemen, what are your fucking thoughts? QB is CJ Stroud. Running backs are Josh Jacobs and Devin Achane. Receivers are Chris Olave and Jalen Waddle. Tight end is Trey McBride. This is crazy.
No, it's not. But Jeff gets to go first. So
As far as if you're talking about all fade, it's ironic because almost every one of these players are probably taken in the first 3 rounds in most drafts. But I understand the idea behind this. So CJ Stroud is probably going ahead of where he will actually ultimately land. He had a big year. Josh Jacobs, I could see a fade on Josh Jacobs because Jordan Love's got 9,000 receivers to throw to and 2 tight ends. I'm not against that. There's been more than one article posted that we're a year ahead of a chain. You know, you still got Mostert back there. I don't know if I would fade him. I'd still take him. Olave, that's not a hard fade for me. I could see fading Olave. He's got some injury. The other guy they got is Rashid Shaheed. There's not a lot around. Getting locked down Olave pretty easy. Jalen Waddle should never be a fade, especially if you've got special team points in your league. Jalen Waddle should be on your team if he's sitting there in the right round. Like, I'm not saying grab him in the second, but if he's sitting there third or fourth, that's easy money. Trey McBride, I think that is grabbing low hanging fruit because they drafted Benson and Marvin Harrison Jr. This offense is going a different way, but everyone forgot what Trey McBride is. So that's grabbing low hanging fruit to me. Like, oh, they're not going to throw to the tight end. They've got Dortch, they've got Harrison, they've got 2 running backs. Kyler Murray doesn't know what to do because he can't see over his offensive line. Trey McBride is going to be useful, especially when he's going up against some of the defenses he's going to be about to play in his own division. So they're grabbing some low hanging fruit here. I don't disagree with this entire list. I agree with a couple of them. And fading CJ Stroud, just back to the number one, there are people who are literally taking CJ Stroud as QB1 or 101 in fantasy leagues.
I have
That's
seen
a
that.
fade, bro. Like, that's a fade, bro. Like, okay, cool. CJ Stroud is great. He's got some good wide receivers, but yo, he did one, and we have all seen the sophomore slump. We have all been in this league long enough, all done this long enough to know that putting to year one and getting better year two, when you already did such an elite job year one, is a slim possibility.
Okay. Taco, how do you feel?
I mean, like, you drop this with no context and just kind of leave it how it is, which is, you know, how they did it.
Kate, who wrote the article, you can check it out on yahoofantasy.com. Big shout to Kate. Kate knows that we love her.
Is it Kate?
Nothing but love. Yeah, Kate.
Okay, I got it.
No, I mean, when it dropped on social, because I saw it on social. So when I saw it on Instagram, Facebook, or like Twitter, there's no real context to it. They you know, if she had an article or something that was with it, they definitely should have linked back to it to give it more context. Because when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this is kind of crazy. Because some of these guys right here, like, again, you could fade Olave, but you could also look at him as undervalued asset. You know, when you look at his target share, when you look at what he's capable of, I think everything is all relative. I agree with Jeff. Some people have overgone with CJ Stroud, and this is what we say before. Like, when you look at his build and what he does, like, last year could have been his max season. He doesn't run enough. He doesn't have enough of these, and he was so efficient last year. When you look at everything, it's going to be very hard for him to duplicate. And even if he does duplicate, his upside is limited. But meanwhile, people, because in real life, you know, he's been a baller, want to start putting him up there a little bit higher and drafting him a little bit sooner than he probably should. So, like, I would not draft him before I draft Kyler Murray, but I know a lot of people are taking him before Kyler Murray. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, I can kind of see it, but at the same point in time, like, how far down do you fade Stroud? Like, you know, this is kind of like, again, all fade teams. Like, when I hear fade, I'm fading it. Like, but at the same point in time, that's relative to ADP, who's around it, what your team is. So again, I feel like there needs to be context, because we're talking about all top flight guys here. Like, A-Chain in the right context could be a league winner. Like, he starts falling too low and you're saying all fade, and you're kind of like, damn, well, relative to what? Like, who's there? Because I could just as easily come out with a list that says fade Josh Allen, Josh Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, you know what I mean? Devontae Adams, and it's the same exact thing that she's doing here. You know what I mean? It's the same exact thing. So it's like really kind of like an exercise in just making people like debate.
Drop the mic. How do you feel?
The top two, 1,001% agree.
Really?
Here's the problem. I like Stroud, but it's what Jeff said. It's what I've seen in the offseason. People were saying, Robbie, I know you saw it because I mentioned it to you too. People are saying, oh, in Dynasty startups, I'm drafting him as my 101 or my 102. No,
Yeah.
I put him on the block in every Dynasty league I had when I saw that shit. No, I like Stroud, but I do agree with Jeff that he did have I'm not saying he's not going to ever have a year that he did last year, but he had such a good year last year that it's going to be hard for him to live up to the ADP. And that's what this whole thing about the all fade thing is that Kate did. I'm not drafting Josh Jacobs in any redraft league that I have, and I don't care if you mofos on this panel are in the league that I'm in. I'm telling you that. If he's there, he can be there in the 8th round. I ain't taking his ass. Maybe that late, I'll take him, but fade. A chain, I'm so I like him, but I get it. Olave, I understand with Carr, with some of the news that's coming out at the ADP. Waddle, I'm not going to discuss Waddle because I can't discuss Waddle without being unbiased because he's my boy. McBride, I see him rising up so many ADPs, especially after two of the footballers have said that he's their number one redraft tight end. It's even skyrocketed more. I like McBride. I traded for him in the offseason, got a deal on him in Dynasty, but at his current ADP, it's hard to take him because you have to draft him so high. That's why I like this all fade team, because I understand what she's saying and I get it.
Yeah, no, I do as well. The context that I think that is missing here is where it could be argued that it becomes clickbait is just seeing the words all fade team on the top of the graphic. If it says something to the effect of all fade team per their ADP, I think that's where people are missing it. This is fade at their current ADP, and that's what Kate kind of breaks down and explains in the article. Me, I am still buying into as much CJ Stroud as I fucking possibly can. Like it's just a thing. It's gonna be a thing. I'm still gonna like I said, it's a thing. I don't have a strong defense as for why, because he fucking balled out his rookie season. They added weapons, a lot more weapons all around him. And if he did what he did last year with the weapons that he had, and then all you did was keep those same fucking pieces and then add on to it, then make it better and add better pieces, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, so on. Like Tank Dell coming back healthy, men. I'm bought all the way in on Houston. I mean, and that's just the way that it is. Josh Jacobs. I like where I could get Josh Jacobs, touchdown Schmidt. I absolutely fucking love where I can get Josh Jacobs. Look, this man was the rushing king last year, and was the rushing king while simultaneously looking like he might have been on a little bit of a decline. If I can just get 90, 85% of last year, I'm pretty damn happy. And if I can get it on a more consistent basis than what we were getting last year, I'm completely fine with that. A 5th round grade for a guy like me who's more likely not grabbing a running back with their first 3 picks, grabbing Josh Jacobs or starting my running back round 4th, 5th round, I'm completely okay with. I'm like more than okay with. He went 5-1 in the Rumboyz Mental Health Awareness League, just for context, to the person drafting from the 12 hole. So he went first pick in the 5th round to the person at the 12 hole. Gotta love that. Achan, go check out Fantasy Football Friendly. We have a whole playlist of Fantasy Football Friendly. You want to know how I feel about Achan? The Miami Dolphins episode is up right now. I wholeheartedly believe that he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna be healthy. That offense is just too high octane. give me all of the Devon Chan. Olave, fuck the Saints. That's my biggest fade on this list. I don't think I have I think I have one share of Chris Olave. I think I have one share of Olave.
I have a couple, but that was before. That was from the start.
Taco drafted him, picking from the 7th hole, drafted him in the 4th round in the Mental Health Awareness League. That's too rich for me personally. I'll wait. At that same rate, you know, you can grab an ETN, a Nico Collins, a Derrick Henry. If you're in the 2 QB,
No way I would take Nico Collins over Olave, though. No way.
You're,
that's a bigger fade than Olave, just from a volume perspective. But that's another conversation.
And then as for Jalen Waddle, check out the Miami Dolphins episode of Fantasy Football Friendly, executive produced by Drop the Mic FF. Shorts edited by Leafs Defense, the homie Triet. Not sure what to make of Waddle, just with how many mouths there are to feed. I think that he'll have a little bit of a better season, but I'm not in a rush to go and grab him. My approach to Waddle is, oh shit, I didn't get Tyreek Hill in the 1st round and Tua in the 2nd round as a stack. Now I will go and get Waddle to pair with Tua, like, you know, or like that. That's my thought process behind that. And even still, how effective that would be as a stack, I don't know. Trey McBride, way too fucking rich. 4th round. I'm a late tight end type of guy. Unless I'm paying up for a Kelsey or a Laporta. Outside of that, or Mark Andrews or a Kittle. Outside of that, like I'm not touching the McBrides. That mid-range Kyle Pitts, I'm like out on still, not fully warmed up. Maybe Dalton Kincaid, like I still don't know yet. So yeah, that's how I feel just about that whole general tier right there. I want to see more before jumping all the way in. Fuck, if no one would even be talking about Trey McBride if we had a full season healthy of TJ Hawkinson. Let's just be fucking honest. You know, so that's my whole thing with that. I mean, Dalton Schultz could have a better year. Evan Ingram still, Trevor Lawrence's safety blanket. It's that whole tight end conversation around Trey McBride and the value is just weird for me personally. We are going to get into halftime. What's up, Mike?
One thing I want to bring up about Stroud, I understand your point about getting more weapons, but last year he was tied for 11th in average fantasy points per game, 13th quarterback overall. Yes, he's improved, but he's being drafted like 4th or 5th. My problem isn't him, the person. My problem is him, the ADP.
Yeah. For me, it's purely just ADP. If I can get him a little bit lower, then fine. But I mean, fuck it. You know, I'll navigate around that situation like I've been doing, either choosing to go early tight end or just choosing to just wait really fucking late.
I mean, the 3 of you saw it. I knew Taco knew what I was going to do. I went on a limb and I took my man in the 1st round and I decided to go AR-15 over CJ Stroud because of the upside comparatively with the ADP. I was like, I'm just going to do it because
Kate mentions that in her article. She's not knocking the things that he does positively. The indictment came from the lack of rushing upside that we look for, and she didn't even argue about his ADP or anything. It was just really that. And that's a justifiable reason because that's realistically the only thing that you can say, you know.
Oh yeah.
How about this hot take? I think Kyler Murray finishes better than Richardson.
It's not a hot take, but okay.
I think there's
an outside chance that both of them finish in the top 5.
Possible.
Yeah,
possible.
I can feel that.
Yeah, I the only reason why I don't say it's a hot take is because of the rushing capabilities of both. To say
Kyler Murray's in the steal and then his ADP when you look.
Oh yeah, Kyler's definitely a steal, but to say that he can't, I just feel like it's a discredit to him. So that's why I say that it's not a hot take.
That's why I drafted him. That's why I drafted him in the second round as SFB with the scoring settings. I got Lamar in the first, and when I saw him fall to me in the second, my plan wasn't to go 2 straight QBs, but I had to take it.
It's funny that you brought. It's funny that you guys brought those guys up, because film study a couple of nights ago was Stroud. This morning was Murray, and like a couple of days ago was Anthony Richardson. So it's funny because like all three of those guys, even though like I've filmed on some of them, I've already gone back and like yeah.
I'm all in on that whole trio.
Tonight I got a fucking new Trevor Lawrence and Baker Mayfield. It's gonna be fun.
You got to do Taco's favorite quarterback of all time.
I know. I know. It's fucking great. It's great.
Aaron Rodgers?
What?
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
You're going to start talking that talk? I don't want to hear it out of you, you freaking hypocritical punk ass.
We will be right back here on Rumboyz After Dark. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to share the content. We will have a couple of music videos, a word from our sponsors over at GLD. Do remember, all right, if you have not already, donate to Pros with Joe's. We got 105. Shouts to the donor that dropped the 105. We greatly appreciate it. You donate, you get entered into a raffle to win an opportunity to manage a fantasy football team, co-manage a fantasy football team with your boy. We get to compete against some of the homies at NFL Network, Fantasy Pro, Sirius XM, and many, many more. And you also receive a Rumboyz swag bag if you get selected to win the drawing. We'll be right back after these messages and a word from our sponsors. Cheers to me, cheers to you, all the Rumboys and girls. What it do? Dilly dilly, y'all.
Dilly dilly, yeah. My body, Miami, when I'm land, I got no understanding. Out of here, I'm burning, or turn me up, you can't understand it. In the club, posted up, they lit up, no matter where I'm standing. Shots to your deep, for the Cuban link, yeah, you see it there. Might spaz out on some taller shit, don't want zero tolerance. Money conversations ain't hard to relate, it's hollering. See my net, they acknowledge it, good friend, girl, when you're not.
Hey, bro. Yeah. When is this gonna kick in? When is what gonna kick in?
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Rumboyz After Dark, live here on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. Make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe if this is your first time catching us live, and also drop a comment, and most importantly, share the content. We greatly, greatly love and appreciate all of you. And yeah, tonight's going pretty well. Wouldn't you say, fellas?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely agree. We're going to get in here to the second half of the show. Want to thank our musical guest. Want to thank our sponsors. Make sure that you guys are also keeping up with the Pros with Joe's charity competition. Be on the lookout. Raffle winner will be announced in the next 9 days. Alrighty, let's get back into tonight's show. Let me get the show sheet up because I had to like also simultaneously on break keep up with our social media. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the rum boys and girls, what to do. Dilly dilly. Let's get it.
Should I do the next segment as a weak-ass Rey Mysterio?
Oh my gosh. Feel free to do whatever you want. We are going to move forward and begin talking about the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, ironically, are also moving forward. They're moving forward with Sam Darnold. as their starting quarterback following J.J. McCarthy going out for the season with a torn meniscus after looking amazing in his preseason debut. Of course, the team here at the Rumboyz Fantasy Network wishes a very, very fast recovery to J.J. McCarthy. But we have to talk about Sam Darnold and what happens to his ADP and his fantasy football outlook now that he's a starter. Also, we need to ask, the question does beg to be asked, can Jay Jettis flourish with Mr. I'm seeing ghost at quarterback? Inquiring minds want to know, just for context, prior to this injury, Sam Darnold went, I want to say, in the 16th round of the Rumboyz Mental Health Awareness League to the 11th spot. So that's what the future was looking like for Sam Darnold prior to the J.J. McCarthy injury. Drop the mic. Take us away.
All right. So, as the resident Rumboyz After Dark Sam Darnold circle the wagons truther at one point in his career, I gotta be truthful here. Sam Darnold's ADP is going to go up. I would draft him in redraft, but I don't know if this is good for anyone but Sam Darnold. I don't know if this is good for Jay Jettis. I put him on the block in Dynasty to see if I can get a kit and caboodle for him, just to see. If I can drop down just a couple guys and get another pick on it, I'll do it. Is this good for Kevin O'Connell as a coach to see what he's got? This is good for Sam Darnold because if he does do good with Minnesota, he'll earn it back somewhere else. The one thing that I want to say about J.J. McCarthy is this is the first time a first-round quarterback is going to miss the entire year because of injury since the modern draft era. I'm wondering if that's going to have anything. I'm curious to see what holds with that because, people are going to hold that against them. Yes, it is. It's definitely. But at this point, I don't care. I'm feeling crooked. So, Sam Darnold is going to finish as a top 18 QB. He's going to be serviceable in Superflex. He's going to be serviceable as a streamer, depending on what else happens. Addison was dinged up. Who knows when Hawkinson's going to get back. If Aaron Jones can stay healthy. But overall, I like him as a mid-round Superflex guy, but his ADP might be too rich for me depending on where he starts going. And this is too hot.
Yeah, it looked like, I'm sure it's hot if you're not fucking breathing out the right damn nostril holes.
No, there's no eye. I have no eye holes. There's no hole. There's only mesh for the eyes and no other hole. This one has no mouth hole, no nothing.
That's what she said. Taco.
I didn't go there. You did.
I mean, again, I think Mike really spoke to this one because this is pretty cut and dry. Nobody sees Sam Darnold doing what Baker Mayfield did last year, which is kind of like what you're praying to God he could be Baker Mayfield of last year if you're drafting him in drafts. And you're usually doing it because you're desperate. Like, you only draft Sam Darnold if you're desperate. There's nobody else available. Fuck it. Give me Sam Darnold as my third quarterback. But overall, yeesh. This is yeesh. You know what I mean? You go deep in your mind, you're wondering if Dobbs is going to start coming back or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not a good situation. Based on his production and based on everything he's done throughout his career, we all seem to believe that, JJ is quarterback proof, that he's going to be able to at least produce some viable fantasy numbers. But I think with Sam Darnold now being his starting quarterback, you have to drop JJ pretty far down on your drafts. You need to be very careful with JJ because you're now tying yourself to one of these horrible quarterbacks that he can't make any reads. No, so the defense said, fuck it. 3 people on JJ, throw to somebody else, beat us. And all of a sudden now you're looking at really decreased production from Justin, who you're going to probably take with the first or second pick. So I think with this now, all of a sudden you have to be very careful with him. It's a much riskier pick now.
I'll still take him as a second round pick, just like I did.
That second round pick. He wasn't a second round pick a week ago.
No, but I mean, I got him in Rumboyz for second.
It depending on the setup of your league.
Like in one QB redraft leagues, he was definitely a first round pick.
He was a top 5, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And in single QB, he'll still be that. In QBs, it was either
single QB, you do that. I think you're putting yourself in a huge hole. I mean, just because there's no QB doesn't mean that his value it changes any. Like, I'd rather have a Garrett Wilson. I'd rather have, a lot of these. I'd rather have Garrett Wilson than him right now.
I would say that depends on how you're evaluating the talent, which I'll get into when it's my turn. Jeff.
So there's a couple things here. I think one, we all forget how young Sam Darnold is. He's only 27. He just turned 27. His last year of playing legitimate football, 2022, 4-2 with Carolina Panthers, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks, but he put up a 92.6 QBR. He just got done spending time in San Francisco with maybe the best offensive mind in football and maybe the best quarterback guru in football, and he's coming over to Minnesota. Now,
with another guru.
Now, there's 2 ways you can go with this. You could be like, okay, this guru is going to go let Sam Darnold ball. I think it's going to go another way. I think they're going to use Sam Darnold casually. I think Darnold's a good QB too, but I think this skyrockets the value of Jones and Chandler because I don't think they're going to let Sam Darnold put them in a hole that they can't get out of. I don't see them letting Sam Darnold throw the ball 35, 40, 42 times a game. I think this is going to be a very interesting offense to monitor. And one thing I can tell you is if you're in the last 3 rounds of your league and TJ Hawkinson is there, grab that dude and you let him sit on IR because when he comes back, Sam Darnold is going to pitch Hawkinson the ball 5, 6, 7 times a game. It's going to be easy money. They've got no legitimate red zone threat outside of Hawkinson right now. So Sam Darnold, I put in the QB2 rank. You kind of take him how you feel. I would move Jay Jets down a little bit, but if Devontae Adams can still be a legitimate receiver with Aiden O'Connell, I don't see why Jay Jets can't be a legitimate receiver with Sam Darnold. Like I think it's more than possible. In fact, who I think this actually hurts is Addison. I think this hurts Addison a lot. Sam Darnold has been in the league for a while, even though he came in at 21, but I've never seen him make 2 wide receivers serviceable, period. And they barely made Addison serviceable last year with Kirk Cousins before he got hurt. So I think this is an Addison massive fade. I think this is a J-Jet stay. And I think this is if you end up with a Ty Chandler in your middle rounds or an Aaron Jones in the 6th or 5th round, you're feeling okay. And I think this is a bump in Hawkinson. Just wait for him to come off IR. Steal him late, get him, go ahead, take those points because you know what it's about? It's about championships and playoffs. It's about winning the league. And if you can win the league on getting a guy you got in the 3rd to last round because he sat for 4 or 5 weeks, that's a win to me.
Okay. I'm gonna give my take, and then we're gonna play a game to close out this segment here. A little drinking game to close out the segment. Look, same things that I said on Fantasy Football Friendly. I'm gonna just kind of reiterate some of those cliff notes. Homie was QB 33. You look at our colleague over at NFL Network, Adam Rank, who dropped their quarterback tier list. He has Sam Darnold as a tier 4 guy, which I have him heading more so into kind of that tier 5 territory with like a Bryce Young, Bo Nix, where JJ McCarthy was, so on and so forth, kind of like those rookies, Brissett, so on and so forth. having him as a low end back end tier 4 with Minshew, Levis, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. I can get on board with that. I'm agreeable with that, especially with the injury now. Tier 4 for Sam Darnold is a fair fitting. Look, for the Justin Jefferson side of things, he's quarterback proof. All right. You look at old school DeAndre Hopkins and you look at the fucked up quarterbacks that he had to deal with. You were still drafting D-Hop at ADP regardless of the cost. At any and all costs, you were doing it.
Very true.
Every so often, every few years or so, there's at least one or two that, irregardless of who is throwing them the ball, they still ball out and they still put up wide receiver 1-esque numbers. I think that we're looking at that with Justin Jefferson. I feel like that's fair with Justin Jefferson. It's not going to matter because he's going to be force fed. All right. So as far as Justin Jefferson and how it affects him, yeah, you're going to have some weeks where you're going to struggle. You're going to be frustrated. There's going to be some interceptions. That's what the fuck Sam Darnold does. That happens when you have a quarterback with the big arm. Chicago Bears fans, I know you remember Jay Cutler. When you got a quarterback with a big arm like that, shit's going to happen. On the bright side with this offense, it's Kevin O'Connell. Those mistakes can be reprehensible. They can be repairable. It's a decent backfield with Aaron Jones. To Jeff's point, yeah, I think they do manage and they temper expectations with this offense. Maybe you see a lot more screen passes and so on of the like of Darnold than to open up that big explosive play down the field to a Darnold, a Hawkinson when he comes back across the middle for maybe, 20, 30 yards. I think that you start seeing that. I'm out on Addison. I'm out for now. I need to see something. Maybe he becomes a guy that I trade for when I'm looking for a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, a flex play, so on and so forth. Not sure how I feel about it. It's been a very tumultuous offseason for Addison. It's been a tumultuous offseason for this team as a fucking whole. With that being said and stated, I think Sam Darnold could, right now consensus has him as QB 33 like I led off with. I could see him exceeding that. I could maybe see us potentially looking at QB 18 with the full season, fully healthy when it's all said and done. I want to get into a game really quick revolving around Sam Darnold. All right. It's would you rather. We always play this.
No,
you guys know the rules. You take a sip if you are going to start Sam or the other quarterback that I mentioned. You do not take a sip if you are going – no. We're going to reverse it. You're going to take a sip if you're going to start the other quarterback over Sam. Okay?
No, you want to get us drunk.
You are not going
pretty
to take a sip if you are going to pick Sam over the other quarterback. I'm going to list off 5. These 5 will all be within tiers 3 through 5 per NFL Network. All right, per NFL Fantasy.
Yeah.
I like that we can utilize all of our homies shit. We're not subject to just one. It's a beautiful feeling. It's very freeing. All right. Number 1 of 5 QBs. Justin Herbert or Sam Darnold. Drink if you would pick Herbert over Darnold. Taco done them pussy ass sips.
Oh, he's sipping water. He's not even sipping.
It's White Claw. Don't lie to you.
It might be White Claw.
It's that cool, refreshing drink, White Claw.
Be a man and grow some hair.
Trevor Lawrence or Sam Darnold.
I'm waiting for Taco's answer. Do it, Taco. I know you are.
Okay, so that's 2 as a panel we've been unanimous on. Derek Carr or Sam Darnold? Damn, Taco's gonna start Derek Carr over Darnold. Woo! That's crazy. After we just shit on the Saints during the NFC South segment, that's crazy.
I think Derek Carr is not great, but he doesn't see ghosts. I see dead people.
Will Levis or Sam Darnold? That one was hard. That one was so
no, it's not. I am out on. I'm not. I don't have Mayo Boy, and I will not have Mayo Boy.
Parfum de Mayo.
Even though,
don't do this.
I'm gonna give you. We'll do 2 more. We'll do 2 more.
Oh, if there's one, I'm gonna probably kick your ass.
Oh, give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby.
Even though he is not allowed within 5 miles of a massage parlor.
That's
Deshaun Watson or Sam Darnold?
I'm drinking all day on that one. That wasn't the one I thought you were going to give me to make decision, though.
Me either.
Your last choice.
Patrick Mahomes.
Choice. Gardner Minshew or Sam Darnold?
Uncle Rico.
I'm saying
none of us drank on that one.
Oh,
Jeez.
I'm saying Darnold because as of right now, my gut's telling me that Minshew's going to be sitting on the bench.
You said what?
I said I have to say Sam Darnold because as of right now, my gut's telling me that Minshew won't be behind center.
Okay.
Really?
So we're in on. So we're not in on Minshew. It seems like we're not in on Levis.
Can I throw one out there?
What's up?
Because I'm interested in a couple people's opinions on this one, especially the troll underneath me. Russell Wilson.
I was gonna.
Or Sam Darnold.
That's such a tricky one at this point. But at this point right now, Russ wasn't that bad last year.
I'm curious because that's a tricky one. Like that's right on that like weird.
I need to see what's going to happen first because Justin Fields looks like he's winning over that locker room.
I know that's what scares me.
That's the but whoever's starting in Pittsburgh, I take over Sam Darnold. How about that? That's a better way to put it. Who's ever starting in Pittsburgh, I take over Sam Darnold.
I would say that the closest one you want to talk about, they're almost identical offenses, is are you taking Sam Darnold over Geno Smith?
That was going to be one I brought up too, and I played Geno over Sam. So let me just read you. So again, Sam Darnold is a tier 4 QB.
Would you play him over Daniel Jones?
I play everyone over Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I play everyone over Daniel Jones.
Tom
Brady don't like Daniel Jones.
Give me
Tom Brady don't like Daniel Jones. I'm a goat, so goats stick together. Let me read you guys tier 4 per Adam Rank NFL.com. Tier 4 begin. I'm doing this in order. So this is 18 through 29. Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Sam Darnold at 25, Gardner Minshew, Will Levis, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. Tier 5 starts with Bryce Young.
Who's after Bryce?
My God, anyone left?
It goes Bo, Justin, Drake.
Got it.
Yeah. So
Robbie, I guess I got a question for you, man. because we've talked a lot about it on this last couple shows, even though I haven't been on. But are we smashing Herbert because we don't feel Herbert has the talent, or are we smashing Herbert because he's in the offense that fucked him?
I will say check out Fantasy Football Friendly where I break that down. We're not, me personally, I won't speak for the whole network, but for me personally, we're not hot, but we're not cold. We're okay with what can happen.
I'll say what I am. I'm worried about the foot.
I am worried about the foot. I'm also worried about how much new that there is. But Herbert's such a talent in his own right, to where I have to give him credit and give him the ability to be able to push that offense and push a lot of the new that's happening into a position to where he sees fit, to where he can flourish. He's been in the league long enough for me to doubt what he can do at the position. He hasn't given me a reason to doubt his leadership capabilities, and that's what it's really going to come down to with Justin Herbert. That's why I can't say that I'm cold. I can't. He hasn't given me evidence to be harsh on him, if that makes sense.
It was just a question because of the tier and the situation we're in.
Yeah. I personally, I feel like he could be he should be a tier 3 talent, but again, the offense changing makes it to where he's downgraded to a tier 4. Minshew Mania died quicker than Linsanity. Let's get into the next topic here. We are going to head to Rumboyz headquarters, all right? So we are going to talk about a team that doesn't get featured on this channel a whole lot. I don't know why we do it. They always keep everything close to the vest. Like, we don't have to report on. They're never drama-filled, you know?
There's no reason to.
Yeah. Like, well, you're saying that because you're a fucking Chiefs fan.
No, I'm saying that because Sean Payton is a dingleberry.
That too.
This has nothing to do with the Chiefs. This has to do with him.
Yeah, the only time this team makes the Rumboyz headlines is when something fucked up happens. But we actually have something positive. I think that is positive to talk about. Bo Nix is looking fucking dominant throughout both practices and his last preseason debut. The joint practice today was just I could roster bait to that. You know, I could film bait to that. Just amazing. Broncos country is hyped for the aura that this new rookie QB is bringing to the Mile High City. My question is, are we looking at the new heir to Box State royalty? Elway is sat on the throne. Peyton. Hell, even the legend of Tebow, they love him out here. Are we looking at the new heir of Box State royalty here for years to come? And what's your fantasy outlook on this quarterback and this offense? Because I think that there might be some gems. Jeff.
Man, so Nix has been one, I followed the draft for a long time. I scout college football like it's an addiction. Nix did great at Auburn, then he did terrible. Nix goes to Oregon, does amazing. One thing Nix has, out of all of the rookie quarterbacks, I mean, maybe more than half the quarterbacks in this league, I would probably say Nix has played in bigger games more than at least 10 of the quarterbacks who are currently playing in the NFL right now. So Nix has age on his side, which on this point is a good thing. He's with a coach who only can use an intelligent older quarterback. Sean Payton cannot use a rookie quarterback who's 21. That guy would end up like in a pretzel hold in his mind trying to call these plays. They have some wide receivers out there. Their big question is running back. I don't know if Nix is going to be the heir apparent, like you say, the next greatest big thing. I think his age does limit him a little bit about that. But I'm also a little bit concerned about what this team wants to do. They did give away Jerry Jeudy. They tried to give away Cortland Sutton. which would have left them with Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin, which I'm fine with Troy Franklin. That dude can ball. If you don't think Troy Franklin can ball, you better go watch some football. You better go watch some tape. That dude can win a game by himself. Right now, the question is going to be the running back. And Sean Payton, since you go back to the Saints, has always had a 1-2 running back system. Right now, he has 4 running backs. None of them are running back ones, and none of them are running back twos. That does not bode well for Knicks. Knicks is going to be slinging this ball like Joe Burrow 40 to 50 times a game for probably his first 6 to 7 games in the league, which is good for fantasy, probably bad for Knicks because he likes to throw the ball into double coverage.
That's gonna be fascinating, just because I feel like we have different outlooks on what it can or will look like. I think that it'll be similar to what you're saying. I like it, but I do like a lot of the things that you brought up there. Taco.
Well, I think when you look at Bo Nix, one thing you really have to remember is that basically Sean Payton's like sticking his career on Bo. I mean, he doesn't have a quarterback. He made his move for Bo. He was sitting there laughing when he was getting Bo, like, I outsmarted all you guys. I was playing posse because I wanted Bo. He was very adamant and very high on Bo. If you look at how he kind of came out after the draft, and with him showing up and showing out early on, you gotta believe that Payton is kind of cooking something up over there. And like you're mentioning, there's a lot of hidden gems on this offense, seemingly. And that seems like a Sean Payton offense, because in New Orleans, he was always like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he making a big play? And who's this guy coming up? He always had someone, and he had to fill the certain roles. I need a guy that can stretch the field.
Colston, Michael Tom,
bro, Shaheed, and then he had
He was after.
He's had so many guys throughout his run that he's been able to plug and play with, drive off the scrap heap, or find in the late parts of draft or somewhere and develop them. So Sean Payton, so far, the experiment wasn't good, but Russell wasn't his guy, and it seemed pretty clear, and the attitude and everything was going across. This is his guy. And, like they say, happy wife, happy life. And in this case, it seems like the wife is Payton. And he got rid of, Wilson, who he didn't want from the beginning. And now he has his guy, his man, his quarterback. And he's going to take his quarterback as far as he can go and see if this can keep him, situated here. So I kind of am starting to believe in Knicks and believe in the things I'm seeing, because I believe in Sean Payton. I don't think Sean Payton's a bad evaluator of talent. I do believe Sean Payton still has it. I think that last year, when you saw some of the things and some of the players they have, you're right. They do have a deep, team, especially at wide receiver and at running back. Jeff said they have a lot of different guys. And I think that, low key, I think he might cook. I think all these signs right now are pointing me to maybe I don't know the most about Bo Nix, but from the people that have invested in him, to the way that they're approaching the situation, to the way that they're putting him in, it's giving me cause to pause and say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't overlook this guy. And I'm going to look at him, especially as we have a couple more games left, a little bit more closely and with a little bit more upside and with a little bit more well, you never know. And didn't they draft one of his top targets in college?
Sure.
So that's another thing that you add to, the layers of this offense and with him and the rapport, and, it could be interesting.
Well, the Broncos are set to take on the Packers this Sunday in preseason action. So we'll definitely be looking. I'm hoping that you're going to tune in, because sounds like it's some tape that may be intriguing you, and that doesn't happen often. Mike.
I'm going completely different on this.
Same.
I'm going different. I'm not different take. I'm just going I'm going out of bounds. sometimes when we have a discussion, we say, oh, a player is a thrift store version or a low-end version of this guy or whatever.
Clearance rack, yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite direction and not talk about a player. I'm going to say that Sean Payton is just a Nordstrom's rack version of I have a feeling that he can end up being a Nordstrom's rack version of Adam freaking Gase. And here's my case.
Why you gotta bring up that?
Here's my case. Let me talk. Adam Gase got a contract purely because of Peyton goddamn Manning and didn't do shit after that. He freaking ruined quarterbacks' careers. I wrote 2 articles about this douchebag. I said that I would fly to freaking New York if someone bought my ticket when they were freaking picking it out in front of the Jet Stadium. He sees ghosts more than Sam goddamn Darnold, and I don't care what people say. He looked cross-eyed in that goddamn freaking intro press conference. Is it possible that Sean Payton is only Sean Payton as Taco said he trusts Sean Payton? And as soon as he said that, I was happy he said that. Because is it possible that Sean Payton is Sean Payton because the one and only Drew Brees and only because of Drew Brees? He hasn't done shit after that. They brought in Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill is the best thing he's ever done after freaking Drew Brees. Taysom goddamn Mormon Hill. Okay, now he goes to Denver.
17th round evaluation on Taysom Hill.
You're 100% right, Taco. Russell Wilson was not his guy. He brings in freaking Bo Nix. Jeff, you were 100% right. If this guy was a 21-year-old, this guy would be ruined. Taco, would it shock you, because I know these other two know this stat because you don't watch college football, and I'm not saying that it's an indictment. I'm saying it's just a fact.
Yep.
Would it shock you if I told you that Bo Nix started the most college games of anyone in the history of college football?
No, I saw the pre-draft stuff.
So
he's seasoned.
He's already seasoned like a well. Robbie knows. Robbie knows what Robbie's from California. He knows where I'm going with this. He's seasoned like a nice piece of tri-tip that's going on the Santa Maria Grill. Okay, nice. Put it on for an hour and then freaking revere sear that thing. But I'm afraid that Bo Nix, if he does struggle, Sean Payton, his eggs are all in his basket. If this guy does not succeed, Sean Payton still might keep a job from the Walmart family just because they put all this money in for a few more years. But they wasted all those draft picks to get Sean Payton. They got all those draft picks to get freaking Russell Wilson. They don't have much draft capital. And if Bo Nix does not succeed, this could be a detriment to this team for years, not just short term. I rest my case.
What I'll say really quick, good take, Mike. Damn good take. I wasn't ready for the Adam Gase direction though. But once you explained it, I saw it. I saw the picture begin to paint itself. Look, man, I compare Bo Nix to that of like an Andy Ruiz in boxing. You know, Andy Ruiz had so many amateur fights that whenever he did, when he did get the title, of course, he doesn't have it right now, but when he did, get that was because he had so much experience. The reason why he is a good heavyweight is because he has so much experience. That's why he's stable at the pro level. 5-year college starter, immense amount of football experience. 61 starts over 3 seasons at Auburn, 2 at Oregon. 74.9% of his throws at Oregon the last 2 years, or completed 74.9% of his throws at Oregon the last 2 years. 74 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. That's one hell of a fucking ratio. Look, here's where, Jeff, I know that you mentioned, pushing the ball downfield, so on and so forth. I don't think that they do that. I think that this first year underneath Nix, it operates a little bit like Oregon, Nix doesn't have the biggest arm out of when we look at the quarterbacks in the class that you know he had to go up against. You're right. If it wasn't for age, you know, he's 24. If it wasn't for age, he probably would have maybe gone a little bit higher. His saving grace is the amount of football experience that he has. You can go with the short passing game. Excuse me. You can go with the short passing game with Nix. Not everything has to be a big play. Of course, some of those will be tossed into the fold. I like that they bring in Troy Franklin, his counterpart from Oregon, who he had the most success with throughout his collegiate career. I could see a Drew Brees style of offense. I could see midway through estimate really catching on to the speed of the NFL and really, you know, maybe potentially being the guy here and there with the opportunities that he could be given. Javonte, stay fucking healthy. Jaleel, don't just be a beginning of the season excitement. Keep that shit consistent throughout the whole season. I think there are gems. I think there is something here with this team. More importantly, Bo and Troy Franklin. If I can grab Bo Nix in the 12th round, which is about where he's going, I have no problems with that being my bye week QB. I have no problems with that being my matchup dependent. Maybe I throw you in as a 2, maybe after seeing, you know, a couple of games. But I wholeheartedly believe that this is Box State royalty. Am I going to say that? I think that it's going to be a couple of years. It's going to take a couple of contracts before Nix can find himself into a Super Bowl. But I think that Nix, once they start becoming attractive to high value veteran free agents in the coming years, I think that this could be a destination that people want to come and play with when they see this kid light it on fire with basically a bunch of nobodies. I won't say that. No, I shouldn't say nobodies because Franklin, Sutton, Dulcich, you guys aren't nobodies, you know. But I don't know. I have this weird vote of confidence after just going back in depth over and over and over and over and over again, watching his college tape. And I've watched his preseason debut twice already. And then I get to view him completely new as the starter with the ones this Sunday against Green Bay. If he tears it up, then yeah, he's going to be the starter. Yeah, it sucks that he has one of the hardest schedules from a fantasy football standpoint for quarterbacks. But if he's able to flourish amongst that in his rookie year, fuck. If we could get this kid to land QB 22 in his rookie year, I could see ceiling going up. We could get him QB 20. If we can get him QB 20, QB 22 is too low. We could get him QB 20. If we could get him to pass Sam Darnold, who I believe could possibly end QB 18, even while having a Jettis there, if he could surpass that, oh, fuck. Like, we're really talking about something. So I know at the beginning of the show we talked about, you know, rookies sitting or starting. There's no one for him to sit behind and really learn from that's going to be constructive for his production.
Zach Wilson.
Fuck you.
That's going to be constructive for his production. So go out there and rock out. Do your thing, kid. I have you on my fantasy team. One of my fantasy teams. Have you on a couple of best ball lineups. I'm with the shit.
Hey, I got him in a league against Robbie.
Yeah.
I think the big question here with Bo Nix, for any of you who scout, any of you who've done what I've done, any of you who've paid attention, is you know what you get in Bo Nix, which is the most dangerous thing you can possibly say about a rookie quarterback. You know what you get. You don't want to say that. You want to be able to say, oh, Bo Nix is coming in and he's this, but he could be this. We know what Bo Nix is. He's almost 25. We've seen him play in the biggest games in college football. So that's my big concern with Bo Nix. I don't think there's a second level to Bo Nix, but at the level that he's playing, that's an 8-8 quarterback. And for Sean Payton, that's good enough. Because all he needs to do is have an 8-8 quarterback and a running game, and he can win 10 games a year. We don't need Bo Nix to go out there and be a top 5 quarterback. No, we just need Bo Nix not to fuck up, which Bo Nix and Oregon figured out finally after
Not fuck up.
years
Exactly.
in Auburn.
No, great point there. I do want to get into our final topic of the night. We may squeeze our UFC picks in for just the main event, just the title fight. But first, before we get into that, Nick Sirianni is under fire again, despite getting a preseason win last night for not playing any of his starters, like literally nobody at all. He said in the press conference following the game that he felt that the joint practice was more than enough to where he could hold off the starters. He felt that it was realistic and physical enough for him to hold off playing the starters in a preseason game. Look, coach is already on the hot seat with rumors swirling around about an unsatisfied quarterback in Jalen Hurts. There's a new OC, a new center, a new running back, which affects pass pro. All these things that are new for Jalen. What's your stance on Sirianni not playing anyone at all? And is Sirianni doing anything realistically to help his case to stay in Philly or stay off the hot seat? Mike.
I don't give a rat's ass about this. It's pre-freaking season. Are we talking about practice? We talking about practice here. To quote another Philadelphia legend. We talking about practice here.
Practice.
I'm okay with the I'm okay with the notion that the freaking joint practices. I mean, if you look at some of the film that we've seen coming across Twitter, there's more hustle and fights and emotion and popping in those practices than there is in freaking any other thing going on in preseason. I'm okay with it. I get the point of there's a new center, there's a new Kellen Moore, this and that. Barkley wasn't going to play a lot. I don't care about Barkley not playing. I really don't care the fact of the tumultuous, attitude with him and Jalen. It's preseason. They'll work it out and they'll work on a camp. They'll work it out in the meeting rooms. If anything, it's Kellen Moore just because the offensive coordinator. But other than that, it's not. They don't have a new QB. They don't have a new coach. They don't have a new. It's basically the same players besides on the skill set besides Barkley. I'm okay with it. It's really it.
Okay. I have feelings about it.
I know you do.
And I personally, hold on a second. This guy is just, I don't know how to put it. He knows how to rub people off the wrong way, but some of the times he's not even really wrong. How many people get injured in preseason? How many people have so many bullshit shit happening? You're you shouldn't have played him. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And a lot of this team, when you look at Hurts and Brown and Smith, they've been together for a little bit. So there's a natural rapport there. With your running back, you don't really want to even put him through the grinder because for the most part, you don't want to take him any hits. You want to keep him protected so he comes into the season ready to go. And he's a veteran running back at that. So, I mean, for the overall sake of it right now, I don't think there's a need to really put them out there or put them into risk, especially in a weak NFC where they'll make the wild card regardless. This is not a division where you have to sit back and be it's not like the AFC where it's damn, they're going to be fighting for spots in the same way. I think that even if the Eagles end 10-6, they'll be guaranteed, not only a playoff spot, but there's a good chance they win a division. I don't really think that you look at the Cowboys the same way. I don't think you look at the Commanders or the Giants as any kind of viable threat. So right now, what my job is, get everyone healthy through the season. So that means not overexposing you or over risking you when this shit don't matter.
The thing is, do you get to afford that same luxury when at the back half of the season, from the end of October all the way through the end of the season, you were at the bottom end of the entire National Football League in offensive production? I think that's where it becomes like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? I kind of understand why people are upset.
Now, if you tell me they do it for all 4 games, that's one thing, but it's only been 2 so far. So we have to see what they do in their next couple of games before we can really make that statement. Because maybe in the third game, in the final game, they have them go like 3 quarters to get ready, and you know what I mean. Have them more. I don't know what the rest of the plan is.
By that time, it becomes a very convoluted conversation. At that point, it's like, okay, this might be a little too late. Jeff.
To me, this feels like the most Dick Vermeil move I've ever seen.
Not Dick Vermeil.
So he knows that his team is one of the most injured teams in the NFL. Philly was injured all year last year. They have 6 new starters on defense. I mean, they're literally about to start 2 rookie corners, and if you don't think they are, it's because James Bradbury is going to center and you're not paying attention. I mean, James Bradbury is going to safety. But he's not looking for these starters. He knows who the starters are. He's looking for who's going to play second string, third string, fourth string.
Yep.
And all of his team was hurt last year. And you got Saquon Barkley, which is great. But a hurt Saquon Barkley is $26 million down the drain that you don't give a shit about. So it doesn't matter if you're playing Saquon. And Will Shipley's doing a pretty goddamn good job. And Will Shipley did a really good job at Clemson doing exactly what he's doing right now. So to me, this is a Dick Vermeil move. He's like, look, sit the starters. I'm going to play backups only until I have to. I'm going to figure out who my backups are because my starters are my starters. If you look at me and tell me anyone's taking A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Barkley, or Hurts' job away, I'm going to call you an idiot. No one's taking those jobs away. And they've already got the back end of the defense set up, and they've got the front seven set up. So I don't think this is a big deal. To me, I think this is a saving grace. While everyone's out there letting these guys get beat the hell up, we don't need to see more from Jalen Hurts. He's figured it out. We don't need to see more from A.J. Brown. Sure, could Cooper DeJean need more work? Yeah, but he just got off the NFI. So what are you going to do? Take a guy who got off the NFI and immediately throw him into action? That sounds like a really bad idea for a really top-end pick. So I don't have an issue with this. And if they don't play the starters until, the first quarter of the last preseason game, I think that's okay because you know who else does that? Every other playoff team that made the playoffs last year in the NFL. So I don't really think this is a big deal.
Okay. For me, in any other circumstance, this was the Philadelphia Eagles that went on that Super Bowl run. I'd be like, yo, yeah, fuck that rest. Like, everybody, they had played basically a full extra season, like need as much rest as you can get, yada, yada, yada. That would be my argument. Wouldn't even be a topic. You finished at the bottom half of the NFL last year in offensive production after going off to a hot start, after looking fucking amazing. There's a whole lot of new. Your coach has been on the hot seat for the last year and a half. Every time I turn around, it seems like with this team, oh, everything is good. Things aren't good. Everything is good. Things aren't good. And that's an eternal issue that they need to solve. And it seems like that, at least for the last year and a half, they have not been able to fucking solve. It's at a point to where I even question, Nick Sirianni, what do you even do? You've had multiple changes at OC, multiple changes at DC. There's no consistency. It doesn't really seem like, with the way the hiring process is going, that you're not really in control of this team and that everyone else, you're just really good at hiring. You're just the guy that's hiring these people to be a part of your coaching staff. What is it that you fucking do? So that's where for me it's tough. If I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm like, yo, fuck that. Give me the reps. Give me the real-time reps. Even if you put me in for a series, let me get the reps, especially with how much new there's going to be. Yeah, they have one more preseason game left.
Yeah.
After this weekend. Hopefully they play them, they play the starters at least for a half or at least a quarter the next game. But to manage a team and to lead a team in this manner where, you look over at Las Vegas and they're like, we don't give a fuck that your name is Devontae Adams. You're going out there and you're playing if you're healthy, if you're ready to go. I want to head into the season with momentum. I want to head into the season, everyone feeling good, everyone feeling great. I don't want to be sitting back week 4 into the regular season trying to get it all together. Yeah, and I think that they could be looking at something like that. We've seen this plenty of times where week 3, week 4, the team that we panicked about at the beginning of the regular season, they finally start to get it together. But then sometimes it's too little too late at that point. And I wouldn't want them to fall into that. If I were Hurts, Sirianni, Roseman, an Eagles fan in fucking general. So that's where my concerns come in with the whole playing in preseason situation. They're in a different circumstance than other teams.
Would you want to tinfoil hat the shit out of this, boys? If Sirianni played his starters and went 0-3 in the preseason, the seat would be hotter?
Nah, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because then I feel like Roseman and the gang could at least be like, okay, well, like we got something going. The records in preseason don't matter. It's the reps that matter realistically and how things look during the reps. The box score in preseason is really what's telling, not the record itself. Let's do UFC picks. I don't want to waste too much time on the other fights. Here's what I will say. Tai Tuivasa wins. I want to go live tomorrow. We're going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to go live. I don't have shit to do tomorrow. We're going to go live tomorrow. Mike, a little tip off right there, just so you know. If Tai Tuivasa gets a knockout, gets a win, I will do a shoey. We already know how that goes. Gamrot Hooker is going to be amazing action, obviously with Gamrot being the favorite there, but Hooker always puts on a good show. Kai Kara France, Ursig, that's going to be fun, obviously, but I really care about Dricus and Stylebender. All right, obviously the main event, so we're going to focus our picks on there. Dricus plus 110 underdog, minus 130 favorite for Adesanya. Let's get into our picks. I know the press conference was wild today. I'm just going to say this. Anyone that has ever been into a fight where you fight the motherfucker that's crying or starts crying before the fight, you know that they about to black out.
I didn't see it. What happened?
Dricus had made some comments. They were some side comments about Adesanya's family. We know these two have always had beef with the whole Africa relations.
I'm not Africa. You're not Africa. You don't live in Africa.
Yeah. Let's be realistic. Dricus, you're white. You're not African, so shut the fuck up. I'll say that.
Yeah, he is.
I'll say
he's
that.
South African.
He's South African.
He's South African. Apartheid. Fuck that shit. All right.
I know what you're saying, but
I'll keep it real. Like I'll keep it all the way real. You're British, bro. You're British who was born in South Africa. You fuck. With that being said, go invade some other country. Don't you have like rubies to steal from India or some shit? With that being said and stated, we've all been in a fight with that person that cries. You know what happens in the end of that fight. You end up getting your ass whooped. If you're the person that cries right before a fight, gets emotional, right, you're about to whoop that person's ass. That person should probably turn around right before you get paws on them. What are your thoughts on this? Dricus with the belt, Adesanya the challenger, every time that Adesanya is a challenger, it doesn't bode well for the other fucking side also. So, Mike.
Oh, I'm first? Okay. I thought Jeff was first. I'm here. All right. Robbie, you already know where this is going. I get Duplessis. I get his argument. Like, he wants to talk shit. I'm not saying it's valid. I'm just saying I get, trying to get in people's heads, this and that. For the last pay-per-view, freaking, we thought there was gonna be this big ass fight, and with can't think of what's his name now, but they almost fought inside the ring. There was this big ordeal. They had to have freaking. What I'm saying is, this is one of those ones where there's so much animosity that as soon as the fight's over, it could be like, oh, we're good, blah 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 blah. But when it comes down, I'm not saying for sure, but when it comes down to the fight itself, there's only one way I'm going to pick. And on this one, it's with the heart, and I don't give a crap. Give me the goddamn style, Pinta. Give me easy. Let's go. I don't give a shit.
Heart means a whole hell of a lot. Yeah, Strickland also, like, he cried about some like dumb shit. Like, when Strickland's situation was that was fucked. That was fucked, because that whole thing was like, you can dish it out, but you can't take it, and that's what Sean Strickland's problem is. This is the first time we saw Izzy like, oh, you want to do this? Like, we saw Izzy as a fucking human, and like, oh yeah, no, you don't fight the fucking anime kid that fucking cries. Like, you just don't do that. Like, you just don't do that. That's how you get karate kicked into a fucking locker. I had a flashback. Taco.
I can't wait to go back and see exactly what happened, because I saw like a little glimpse of it. But I'll say this: Adesanya's taking some time off because he started having like a drinking problem or a partying problem. He had lacked the discipline that he had early, and that's caused a pause for any fighter if they're not able to maintain their level of sobriety during their competition. There's very few fighters like John Jones who can do a couple bumps and then go out and just fuck somebody up.
No, he can't.
You know what I mean? So that's where Adesanya, I'm hoping, feeling good, looking great, comes out there and just mops this dude. Like, I don't like Drakus. And I want to see Stylebender take this down. Money wise, Drakus has been hot, man. And I think it just comes down to how much do you believe in Izzy. And if you watch Izzy fight, there's no reason not to believe in him, because this dude ain't Pereira. And if he ain't Pereira, I ain't scared. You know what I mean? So I'm putting my money on him. I'll probably put like 40 straight up on Izzy, just because I don't even want to fuck with it. I think Izzy gonna go in there and get that revenge, and I want that bread. You know what I mean?
On top of that, I think the UFC also like wants that bread too. So like, they're like, yeah, like do it.
Like, Izzy is like the newest like version of Connor that you have, that fans just get fucking hyped to watch this man fight.
He's box office.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you who else is approaching that. My man Patty. Patty is starting to put himself in that.
Patty's eventually gonna be box office. He's almost there.
I mean, speaking of UFC's money, real quick. I mean, there's a reason that this fight is in Australia. I mean, plain and simple.
Oh yeah. Well, at least this fight's happening in Australia, not fucking breakdancing. Jeff.
I'm the odd one out here.
I made that, Jeff.
Oh, I got it. I'm a better breakdancer than that bitch.
I'm definitely the odd one out here. I think Duplessis puts Izzy down asleep in round 4. I think Duplessis is one of the most underrated, dangerous fighters in the UFC. I think this guy has another level that we haven't seen yet because he hasn't had to show it. And if he's lost the belt 3 times, which means if you've been a 3-time champ, you've lost it 3 times. Now, Duplessis is going to come out here, and I think Duplessis is going to kind of, move around. But Duplessis, this dude was made in a lab. Like, I know a lot of guys want to hate on him. I know a lot of guys don't like his style. They don't think he's, UFC, like, oh, megalo money material. But this dude, when it comes down, if he's standing face to face with you, he will put one left to your face and you will remember the third grade. So I think it's going to be Duplessis by knockout in round 4.
Yeah. Okay. I like what Leafs is saying because like Leafs's takes are making a whole lot of sense. You can always tell, like, someone that studied martial arts kind of whenever you read these comments. For me, I agree with this here. Izzy, taking that Alex Pereira 2 game plan, let Dreykus come in too aggressive, catch him, boom, end it real quick. I agree with this here. In order to beat a kickboxer like Strickland did it, and Bilal, you got to put forward pressure on them, walk them down, mess up their timing. I agree with that.
The 2 most boring fighters in the UFC.
When Izzy gets into his shell, he's smart, keeps his eyes open for a shot. Absolutely. My thing with this is that I don't think that Dreykus has the same chin as a Strickland or even a Pereira. So that walking down the opponent against a striker like Izzy becomes very, very fucking dangerous. It becomes a very strategy. I think that is the only strategy that you can use in this fight if you're Dreykus, in which he will. The timing, the way that Izzy fights, the way that he just times up his strikes just makes it very difficult, and how lengthy he is. But then also you add into the fact Izzy is one of those fighters where it's the definition of heart. When Izzy has lost the belt, it has been when he has been the most comfortable, hasn't had a whole lot to really worry about. But the only thing he's worried about is defend the belt. Any other time, we see Izzy have that extra motivation. He has something. There's always something that fuels him. I compare this bout against Dreykus to Pereira 2. The storyline is same, but different. Pereira, he was a boogeyman, yada, yada, yada. You had to conquer your fear. You had to beat the boogeyman. Okay, cool. You put that to rest. Da, da, da. This is a guy that you have fucking hated forever. This is a dude that constantly oversteps the line with you, and you specifically. This is a dude that took a place, that went to a place during a press conference today that he really didn't need to fucking go to.
I can't wait to watch this shit.
There's a lot of history between these two. When you just look geographically, South Africa, Nigeria, when you think about all of it, and when you think about what these two fighters are really saying in their press conferences, when you really think about the shit that they're saying at the level that they're saying it, this is a battle for the motherland. This is
remember too.
Hold on. I'm on a soapbox. Don't do it. I'm on a soapbox. This is a battle for the motherland. Yes, it's happening in Australia, whatever. I know Azealia Adesanya's Australia, New Zealand ties, etc. This is a battle for the fucking motherland. Izzy, you can't lose this one. You can't. Culturally speaking, you can't. So yes, I'm putting the bag on Izzy. Put Dreykus in his place. Sometimes there's no better way to solve cultural differences than a good old-fashioned scrap. Let there be war. Let there be blood tomorrow night. We'll be covering it live here on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network, UFC 305.
Well, Robbie, remember, Duplessis made Dana White promise him if he won this fight against Izzy, his next title fight would be in South Africa. So he is also fighting for his country to have a title fight.
Not the same thing. this comment. Like there's bigger shit at stake than him getting a fight in fucking South Africa.
Well, I mean, it would be big for the UFC. Like, that's what he wanted. That's what he's fighting for.
Strickland with his dad broke down Izzy with the story. Yeah, like, no, dude. Look, Dreykus is gonna he's gonna pay. He's gonna pay, and I don't think that it's gonna look very, very well for him come tomorrow night. So that's my take. That's where I'm leaving that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Rumboyz After Dark. Be sure to catch us each and every single Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Be on the lookout for more fantasy football friendly and more YouTube shorts coming to the channel. We try and drop those at least, one a day, every day. Remember Pros with Joe's? Pros with Joe's is going down. Shout out to that donor that dropped the 105. Get an opportunity to co-manage a fantasy football team with me. Donate to a very, very positive cause, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and also receive a Rumboyz swag bag whenever you donate. Other than that, I'm Robbie. That's Mike. That's Taco. That's Jeff. We're the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. Like, comment, subscribe. We love and appreciate you. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the Rumboys and girls, what to do.
Do y'all.